The federally funded Smithsonian is coming under fire this morning for an exhibit at the Natl Portrait Gallery. The display features a controversial 4-minute video said to be depicting the suffering of an AIDS victim, showing an image of Jesus covered in ants. That video now has been removed, but some lawmakers now calling for a congressional investigation into the museum's funding. Georgia Congressman Jack Kingston joins me now. He's a member of the House Appropriations Committee. Good morning to you, Congressman.
Good morning, Gretchen.
So you're calling for a congressional investigation. Why?
Well, what we're concerned about is this is a museum that gets $5.8 million in taxpayer dollars, and in the middle of a high deficit, 15 million unemployed Americans, they decide they have money to spend like this. This is a museum that, by the way, has next to it a display of the American presidents. On the other side, Elvis, and then you go through this, which is really perverted, sick stuff, ashes of an AIDS victim in a self-portrait eating himself, male nudity, Ellen DeGeneres grabbing her own breast, lots of really kinky and questionable kind of art. They claim that this is not paid for by tax dollars, yet this is a public building with publicly paid staff, public heat and air conditioning, if you will, public security. So there's no question that taxpayers are subsidizing this, and it's no different than the Pentagon going out and paying $500 for a hammer, or the National Park Service going out and paying $300,000 for an outhouse, which has been done in the past. It's a waste of tax dollars, and during these hard budget times, we can't afford it.
Right. Well, somebody who agrees with you is Congressman Eric Cantor. Here's what he said. This is an outrageous use of taxpayer money. Taxpayers have a right to expect that the museum will uphold common standards of decency. Let me ask you this, because I understand that private donations actually paid for that specific exhibit, which has now been taken down. But what you're saying is that you want to stop the taxpayer funding of just the building itself.
Well, what we're saying is, if you're going to squander dollars like this, when we're looking at a $1.3 billion deficit, then you're probably wasting a lot of other money. And the Smithsonian budget, just like any other federal agency, should be under the magnifying glass right now. We have got to find ways to balance the budget.
Congressman, how do you answer to this response? Because usually when these controversies come up, people on the other side say, well, it's art. And they sort of they're able to hide under with everything by just saying it's art.
You know what? I support freedom of expression. I support art, and if it is privately funded and they want to show a picture of Jesus being eaten by ants and they think at Christmas time that that's the proper thing to do, then they should do it on their own nickel, not on taxpayer nickel. This is in a public building with public staff. Public taxpayers are subsidizing this exhibit, so to say that it's privately funded is a joke.
Well, here's the statement from the director of the Natl Portrait Gallery, Martin Sullivan. The artist's intention was to depict the suffering of an AIDS victim. It was not the museum's intention to offend. We are removing the video. I guess the problem is the AIDS victim looked just like Jesus.
Well, I think there was no question who the AIDS victim was supposed to look at. This is a pro-gay exhibit, which is fine. Again, with private dollars, you can do whatever you want, but this is public, and this is a museum that is supposed to be bringing us to higher standards of American history.
All right. Congressman Jack Kingston, always good to see you. Thanks so much.